Slate.
What's going on, FN Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Garami. Welcome to the Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook Podcast here, giving you our first look at Friday's 12-game main slate. James, sir, how you doing?
Happy freaking Friday, John. Let's go out with a belt here.
Great. Continuing it on, carrying it over. Love to hear it. We got 12 games on the main slate. Maybe we got a couple of games here with some weather symbols. I know living in Massachusetts, we're going to have some rain this weekend here. LA Angels versus the Mets, Dodgers, Boston, and St. Louis, Philly with the rain symbols on the early look here. So something to pay attention to when it comes to the weather as we move on throughout the day. Justin Vreeland will be the man on your playbook. Be sure to check out the weather section in the playbook there. For those of you who have not already yet subscribed to the Fantasy Alarm All-Pro Package, now is your time to do so. Take advantage of our 7-day free trial, access to all the awesome premium content that we have on site, premium Discord. And right now, our annual subscription is 40% off the monthly price. So basically, you'll get half a year or full year for half a year's price if you buy the annual subscription today. Before we jump into tonight's slate here, shout out to Real Time Fantasy Sports. They have their best ball and fantasy football championships now live over there at RT Sports, and they're filling up fast, over 50% filled already. You go to rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23. New users who deposit there will get a 100% deposit match up to $200 when they make that deposit. Partake in their best ball or fantasy football championship contest, or they also have DFS and DFS Pick'em games available that you can use your deposit match as well. James, DraftKings, Slate, 12 games. Let's do it.
We have two guys over 10K here, John. Spencer Strider, we're in James Harden territory.
Sort of, yeah.
James Harden, 14K when he was playing alone?
We're like Jacob deGrom when he had like a sub 2.
True.
Clayton Kershaw when he had a sub 2. Those guys were like 13 plus K pitchers. Strider certainly getting there because of that just crazy elite strikeout potential. Just had this matchup. Just had it. He was home. Now he's in a better pitcher's park in San Francisco. Held San Francisco to 1 hit, struck out 10. Nothing has gotten better for San Francisco since the start. They still suck against righties. Well worth it. The best part of this being a 12-game slate is that means there are plenty of value options for us to likely choose from, because it is getting to the point, which you were alluding to, where you just see the slate, you see his name, you click the button. You just plug him in. He's already there. He's part of the lineup, and you figure out how you fit the rest of your team around him. Makes it difficult to double spend, but you do have some interesting matchups. You have Brandon Woodruff against San Diego. We've talked about their struggles against right-handed pitching. We have Kodai Senga at home against an Angels team that strikes out a lot. Now Mike Trout back on the IL. Ohtani dealing with a torn UCL. They got a young lineup. Senga at home has been elite. $9,600 for him. Lance Lynn against Boston's probably a no-fly zone. They just hung up 17 runs on Houston today. Logan Webb gets the opposite side of that matchup. Sonny Gray up over 9K as well at 9K. Home against Texas rounds out our top grouping. Obviously, you're playing Strider. If you had to rank the remaining 9K and above pitchers, how would you go about playing them?
There's one other name other than Spencer Strider I would play, and he's actually a ghost, so you can't even see him. He throws the ghost ball, I should say.
Is this Senga?
Kodai Senga, yeah.
Okay.
The ghost splitter.
Yeah.
Dude, he looks amazing right now. The walks have been limiting. I know there's been only 2. There's been 2 every game, but 2 is better than what it was earlier in the year.
True.
And because of that, he's been able to, look, the Cubs in the middle of their stretch, the Braves in the middle of their season, and St. Louis is, obviously a threat because despite being a bad team, it's not their offense that necessarily let them down.
And that was a test being on the road. I was weary because, again, you look at his home road splits, home 2.63. His away was over 4 until the most recent outing when he held down St. Louis there, helped them out a bit. But just elite home numbers, 182 average, 263 ERA. We know he's a big strikeout guy as well. And the Angels, again, striking out a ton. So I'm with you. When I looked at this grouping here, it was Strider, it was Senga. If you tried to play them both, you got about 3,500 a position. So, punt catcher, find a 2K outfielder, and then maybe you can make it work. If you're not going in that direction, next tier below, Dylan Cease against Oakland, Bryce Miller against Kansas City, Yu Darvish, Milwaukee, Keller against Chicago, but I don't think we're going to go there.
He has been good. He has been good for what it's worth.
No, I know. BB against Toronto, Bassett against Cleveland's your 8K range.
It's not exactly a tier. Like, I know Cease is going to get ownership. You know Cease is going to get ownership. We all know Cease is going to get ownership. He also couldn't get out of the sixth inning in the start against Oakland earlier in the year. Couldn't strike him out. It was just a miserable time because I played him that night. We know how inconsistent he is. I could see myself getting to some Bryce Miller too. Kansas City, other than Bobby Witt, has kind of cooled down. Like, Bobby Witt continues to be awesome. Everyone else has kind of like leveled off from where they were. So I could see myself getting to Miller. Darvish, it's fine. Bibee is fine as well. He's been really good, and Toronto has struggled against right-handed pitching, so we could go there. Bassett is probably a pretty good play. I know he's been inconsistent here, but 23 fantasy points in 2 of the last 3 games. And Cleveland's offense is just abysmal, man. They are just, it is the point of the year where we're just going to pick on Cleveland as much as possible. And I feel like that's the spot here with Bassett at 8K.
They do have a good amount of lefties in their lineup. That's a little bit of a worry, but for the most part, they are a team we've been kind of targeting for sure. Value range. I've been using a lot of Sanchez here. He's a lefty against the Cardinals, though.
Yeah.
A little bit of a, maybe a little worry here, but he's been really good. Brady Singer's been a guy that's been pitching really well, but Seattle obviously has started to heat up. What's your pick when you get under this 8K range?
Someone who fought for our money last time.
Oh man,
he took the mound, John. Dude, he's been undoubtedly better since we saw it with Grayson Rodriguez, right? Grayson Rodriguez was terrible, got sent down, came back up, looks great. Brandon Pfaadt came up, looked terrible, got sent down, looks really good. Like, someone that I picked up in the seasonal league you and I play in and are jockeying for playoff for positions right now.
Battle right now.
And he threw 7 scoreless against San Diego. And what we've seen from Pfaadt is the strikeout upside. Like 5-8, 5-7 the last 4 starts. We've been talking about Cincinnati a lot when it comes to strikeouts lately. That's what they're doing more than anything else. So I like Brandon Pfaadt quite a bit here. If there was one other guy that I'd be intrigued by, I know you asked about the mid tier. I just skipped all the way down because I just didn't have a lot of interest in the mid tier. Truthfully, I think it's a position full of landmines. So I just went right down to Brandon Pfaadt right away.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind it. We're gonna find some value. Most people probably don't get there because they're worried about about his overall production this year. But I could see a spot where we get to it here. I'm trying to see if anybody else kind of pops for me. We talked about Hendricks on the road. Hendricks' road numbers are really good. I know Pittsburgh is a team that is starting to wake up a little bit here, but again, we've been playing Hendricks. He's been pretty good his last 3 starts. Quality starts in 2 of the 3. Went 5-2 against the Mets. Was rolling there for a little bit. Got in a little trouble. Got taken up. But had 6 strikeouts in that game. If he just gets wins, we're looking at 19, 14, and 18 fantasy points in the last 3 starts for him here. And the Cubs are probably going to be maybe slight favorites. I know you mentioned Keller's pitching a little bit better of late, but Hendricks, and then you have Dane Dunning against Minnesota. Minnesota can't hit home runs if he's throwing ground balls. And 11, 9, 7, 11 ground ball outs the last 4 starts for him. So Minnesota presents a ceiling strikeout game for a guy that's had double-digit strikeouts 2 of the last 4.
Dude, he's having one of the weirdest seasons ever. Because
He has. Look who he's striking out. San Francisco and the White Sox were teams that strike out a lot. So
and he had the 10 against Detroit. He has 3 double-digit strikeout games this year and has been over 6 once in every other start he's made. But you're right. There is a ceiling strikeout opportunity here for Dane Dunning if that's where we wanted to go.
I kind of like it. Kinda. Could be a Dane Dunning mid-tier play. I'm just pulling up to get the actual number here for the Twins. Still the highest in baseball, 27.7%, 2% higher than the next team. Over the last 30 days, it's nearly 29% against right-handed pitching, 28% the last 14. So, again, are we looking at another 10 strikeout game for Dane Dunning? We could be. All right, infield here. Obviously, we've discussed some matchups that we like pitching-wise. So, obviously, there's going to be some hitters that we're going to be looking to target. If we're spending up, what's your top infield spend on the slate?
Top infield spend. Well, if that Boston game plays, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman have been 2 of my go-tos here pretty much every slate, especially Mookie. Continues to be.
Mookie's return to Boston?
Dude, his return to Boston and in this form that he's in, because we're talking about actually just the best player in baseball right now. I know Ohtani is the best player, but nobody is playing better than Mookie Betts, right? He is absolutely on a
500 over.
Dude, it's 10. Just, I mean, he's on a different planet. So I think right off the bat, Mookie Betts would be the top spend up. I would be willing to go back to Zach Geloff at 55 against Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, again, incredibly inconsistent pitcher. He has really good games. He has really bad games. This is not the guy that we had last year. So I'm definitely going there. Moving down the list, Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso get Tyler Alexander taking the mound or Tyler Anderson, taking the mound for the Angels. And we know how bad I want to keep calling him Alexander. Anderson has been against righties. So those would be the first guys I'd mention here above 5K.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Betts and Freeman. It's easy for me just to flip that matchup. There's a lot of lefties in this Red Sox lineup going up against Lance Lynn.
Absolutely.
You have Tristan Casas at 44. You have Rafael Devers in the infield there at 56. 2 guys that I think, we'll see. We'll see how overlooked they go on a big slate.
Right.
Obviously, going Spencer Strider, we already talked about it. You only have 4,200, 4,100 a position with only Spencer Strider in your lineup. So you got to figure out ways to get them in. We know the outfield when we get there. Verdugo might be one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now, the way he's swinging the bat. Yoshida. So the Red Sox lefties are going to be interesting here against Lance Lynn. Maybe you fit Weiler Abreu in that lineup to save you some cash. But that's where I'd be looking to go on this one. You also have Ryan Mountcastle against a lefty in Freeland here. We know his ridiculous numbers against lefties on the season are pretty valid as well. Any other top guys, or do you have any values that you're keying in on here?
Taking a look at some value. I don't love it. You could get to Cole Calhoun, who's first base eligible now. Homers in a couple of days in a row for Calhoun. You get the Bassett matchup. If you didn't want to play Chris Bassett, he is $3,500. That's a pretty good value overall. Still going down. First baseman Andrew Vaughn is $3,300. Oakland is going to do an opener thing, and then Sean Newcomb, ex-Brave pitcher, is going to make his second appearance of the year for the Oakland Athletics, apparently as the long man. So we'll see. But I do like Andrew Vaughn sometimes against left-handed hurlers. Brandon Belt is back in play against Tanner Bybee, $3,600. Still going down. Brendan Rodgers has been someone that's kind of woken up, John. He's had a couple multi-hit games in a row. He had hits in 5 of 6, and 4 of those were multi-hit games. So Brendan Rodgers is a really cheap price. Shane Langoliers, as I mentioned, is someone on Wednesday or on Thursday stream that hits for a lot of power against right-handed pitching. So those are just some guys that I would be looking at. I don't know if you have anyone else.
That works for me. Let's go on over to the outfield here. Again, top end plays Acuna 68. Otani is going to keep playing. He said he's going to swing. Bets, as you mentioned, they're Carroll against Kennedy's at 57. Julio against Singer. The way he's been playing, maybe. What's your go-to top end outfielder?
Go-to top end outfielder, probably Corbin Carroll or Luis Robert in the matchups that they have. But you can obviously get to any of them. I'll say Corbin Carroll, Luis Robert. Okay, those are the two I'd go to.
Looking down, again, I don't really have much to argue with that. I could go Schwarber with the power against Mikolas. He homered again the other day here. I think that we can certainly look to target other matchups too. We've liked Darvish, but Darvish has also gotten us in trouble at times. You have Yelich here, Adames, at home when we talk about the infield righty. So could be some spots there.
Yeah. I don't mind Yelich, and then I don't mind obviously the Phillies guys. The thing is Boston is really interesting here. With Yoshida at 48, Duvall 46. Nolan Jones hit another home run on Thursday, and he hits lefties. And they moved him up to second. So I'm hoping if he continues to stick at the top of the lineup, then we could keep going back to Nolan Jones.
Verdugo's 42.
But yeah,
what do you do with these hot Braves? Logan Webb is a good pitcher, but Ozuna. You mentioned Betts being the hottest hitter in baseball.
Dude, I know.
Marcell Ozuna says, "Hold my beer." 529, 1,700 OPS.
Yeah, I might have to backtrack.
And Eddie Rosario is almost right there with them, 429, 1,300. So I know it's in San Francisco, Pitchers Park, and it's a good pitcher in Logan Webb, but these Braves, man, they're hitting right now. Yeah.
Unreal. Hitting now. They're just hit. They just hit. If it's not Olsen, it's Ozuna. If it's not Ozuna, it's Acuna. If it's not Acuna, it was Albies. If it wasn't Albies, it's Riley. Yeah. There's always somebody on 10. So yeah, you could play him. I bet you this is one of the lowest owned slates you'll ever get the Braves for the rest of the year.
I'm kind of interested.
Same.
4K and under group. Again, we talked about Santander against righties this year, but I'm still willing to run him out there against Freeland.
Wow, 4K, huh? For a guy who's going to hit 30 home runs again this year?
Down. Austin Hayes, we know, hits lefties. $3,800. You have Eloy, who's actually hit righties better than lefties. With Neil on the mound at 38, it's a pretty good price. Let's see, what else do we like down here?
Tyler O'Neill, $3,500.
Melendez against Bryce Miller. If you're not in there, again, KC. Kansas City and KC, two of the hotter teams, right, offensively rolling into each other right here. It'll be interesting to see which way that breaks. You have Marlowe down here as well. Let's see here. I usually gravitate to these Minnesota guys, but I like Dunning, so I don't think I'm getting there.
Yeah. Cheap Dodgers. I mentioned it kind of a lot, but Outman, I know he's slowed down a little bit, but he's had a good month overall. Kike homered again on Thursday. He's been pretty good lately. Peralta $3,000, and Jason Hayward is 28. There's cheap Dodgers against Cutter Crawford, and probably I'd imagine that game and the Oakland-Chicago game as the two most loved.
Sure. Did you mention J1 Bay at second base? No, he's second base outfield eligible, 3K against Hendricks there. Not a terrible spot for him. Let's see. Anybody else? Again, Cleveland's got some lefties. Brennan kind of stinks, but something to consider. Weiler, as I mentioned, 2,300. Hit his first home run today during the Red Sox 17-run output, but he hit it off of France, so it wasn't Maldonado like some guys are banging. It was an actual starting pitcher. So, so that's a look at the value outfield or tier. I guess this is the question: what do we do at pitching? We know there's some value. Are we going to try to double spend? Do you like Dane Dunning? Do you like a different mid-tier guy? Font 56. Like, what are you thinking?
I think it's between Bassett, Dunning, and Font, depending on how
If
we
we
want
use
to
Strider
approach
and
it.
Font, we have 3,900 a pitcher. Dunning and Strider gets us 37. So a couple $200. Let's start with Font. I kind of like Dunning a little bit more, but I think we need the money. So
I'm okay going Dunning. Let's just play Dunning. That's fine. We have mentioned it. Weiler is
I'll just plug
$2,300.
Weiler in here now. I don't even know how
Especially lefty against Lancelin. Like that is.
All right, so 39 catcher position. I'm sure we have a value catcher down here.
Kinzer 27. Naylor, since we're not playing Bassett, but I know Naylor's been bad. If we don't have to go there.
I mean, Moreno's still 23. Do they going to play anybody else?
No, they're not.
Yeah,
so
I don't think so. We'll punt with Moreno. I'm fine with that. He's been heating up like we mentioned. All right, now we have 42. We can work with 42.
Yep.
What did you want to go with? What's the way we want to handle this?
Well, we're gonna want to. I think some Baltimore guys. So Mountcastle at first base.
Okay.
Santander in the outfield. Two guys that will, keep us. Let's see. The Dodgers are in a good spot against Cutter Crawford. On the flip side, obviously,
do you want to
use Boston?
Pick Mookie at second.
Probably
34.
Probably.
I'm probably gonna need to find another value. Most likely gonna have to come in the outfield. 3K guy here. You said that Peralta was 3K?
Yeah, Peralta's 3K.
6.
And where's Volpe when you need him?
Where is Volpe when you need him, for sure? Let's see here. Could go Westberg.
Win is 2,500. Yeah, Westberg's.
Actually, I'm good with going Win. That's good. Win's a good call.
Win's 2,500 at short.
4,700 gets us. I guess I don't know.
Nothing that I really
absolutely nothing.
Don't think there's anything that's great there.
There's really nothing that's there. Let's see. I still think Westbrook could be a play. So we do that. That's 1,200. It's got a $4,200 outfield there,
or a a $3,700 shortstop. One of the two.
Kind of like Verdugo.
Yeah, go Verdugo. Yeah, he's heating up.
All right, so we got 3 Baltimore, Mountcastle, Westberg, and Santander. They hit Westberg 4th the other day, so it could very well be in the middle of their lineup here again. We get the one-off Mookie Betts that we like: Strider, Dunning, Moreno, Win, Santander. We also talked about if we, going with Font, that will open up obviously a lot more money. Another $1,800 if we didn't like Westberg and Gunner or something like that. So there's different ways to approach, but we got a couple of value plays to pair up with Strider, and we know where our stacks are. James and I will be back for the 5:00 live stream, so make sure you tune in. We'll have all the updates, Justin Vreeland, on your playbook here this evening as well. So get us in the Discord. Good luck this afternoon. If you have any questions, get us on Twitter and there, and we will catch you guys later.